I'm Dave Baring, Technical Director here at TriStar, and I'd like to welcome you to another Tech Talk. And today we're going to be talking about preparing plastics for bonding. And this is a subject that we've actually touched on in a few other videos as it relates to utilizing our surface modification division and the plasma services that we offer. Since TriStar is first and foremost a plastics company, it gives us an obvious advantage in being able to not only assist you with plasma treatments independently, but we can also assist you in terms of selecting the right materials that could even be treated. There are a lot of materials out there that just don't like to be prepared for bonding or for overmolding or painting or things like this. Plastics don't inherently like things to stick to them, especially the fluoropolymers and certain elastomers. So the use of plasma, and specifically in our type of plasma, which is low pressure vacuum plasma, the use of this process really helps to enhance the reliability of a bond, reliability of ink sticking to the material, or the material actually sticking to a metal substrate, like in an overmolded condition. So what we want to talk about a little today is really, what is it that surface modification using this type of plasma can accomplish in terms of bondability of a plastic or elastomer. Here at TriStar, we kind of specialize in this plasma treatment, really with our focus being on changing the surface structure of that polymer or that elastomer to do different things. We can make materials hydrophobic, we can make them hydrophilic, we can actually change the amount of surface tension on the material to do a lot of different things. But when it comes to bonding, there's some very specific things that we can say that we can accomplish here, and all without the use of harsh chemicals, without the need for mechanical roughening of the surface, flame treating, corona. This can all be done in a simple vacuum chamber under some very specific guidelines. There's a lot of different reasons that we have chosen to use vacuum plasma, and first of all is that vacuum plasma are very effective, they're uniform, they're consistent, and it's a very efficient method of treating a plastic for bonding. Second thing is vacuum plasma has a much longer lifetime than, say, a flame or corona treatment. Those are typically very short-lived, and you have to very quickly do your bonding or your overmolding or your printing. Otherwise, the treatment fades away. It's just not a very reliable mechanism. Vacuum plasma does not alter the parts. This is a cold process. The part structure doesn't change in any way. The physical properties of the material don't change in any way. All we're doing is preparing the very, very surface of that material to enhance its properties for bondability. Vacuum plasma, unlike corona or flame treatments, are three-dimensional. It is not a line of sight type process. And this is very, very important when you consider the entire part being overmolded or the entire part being potted or whatever. You don't want any potential voids or any places where the material would possibly and not stick the way you would want it to stick. The last thing is that vacuum plasma is environmentally safe, not just in terms of the no chemicals in the plant. There's no hazards to your employees, and so we're really just talking about bottles of gas and a couple of vacuum chambers, and it's a very clean process. There's nothing dangerous that goes into the air. There's no problems with hazardous waste. So plasma is a very, very efficient and effective way to treat plastics. Maybe it's good to stop here and take a quick look again at what vacuum plasma is all about. It's a very simple process in terms of the steps. There's four different issues that we wanted to consider here. First of all, the vacuum chamber. Every recipe that we develop for a material is going to require a specific vacuum condition. and that is done in the first step. We pump down the chamber, bring it to the point that we need it to be for this particular recipe. Then we introduce the inert gases, and those gases can be argon, helium, oxygen, any of the inert gases, again depending on the recipe requirement. Third is now applying RF energy, and doing all that. Fourth, in a very specific time, dwell, range, and those four components are what give you this recipe that you need to treat that material. We offer vacuum plasma as a contract service because a lot of manufacturers don't want to own their own vacuum systems. It's a very costly proposition. It requires a lot of manpower, it requires a lot of peripheral equipment, and there's just a lot of reasons why contracting these services make more sense. Sometimes you don't actually need the treatment. You may find that there's other methods that are just as effective and a lot less expensive, and those are things that we at TriStar can also help you with depending on the material. A lot of manufacturers that might think they need plasma in-house might find out that they don't really have the facilities, both size-wise, manpower, and then the peripheral equipment that's required to run these systems. The lifetime of a product, things change so quickly these days that you might bring plasma in to do a particular product that you are selling, and 2-3 years down the road you find yourself not needing to use plasma anymore because the product has changed or the product life is completed. So it's usually a wise decision to consider outsourcing this to a professional service like TriStar's Surface Mod division, and somebody who can work with you on understanding the material, understanding the process, and then allowing us to be your manufacturing partner instead of just another vendor. We at TriStar, again, part of our advantage is that we can offer everything from material selection right on through to production, and that's something that we include in our plasma treatment review when we sit down with a customer to understand their application. A lot of times people will say, well, I tried plasma once before, it didn't work. And so when we hear that, the first thing we ask is, well, what kind of plasma did you use? And a lot of times customers won't know. They'll just know that they gave it to somebody who treated it with plasma, it didn't work. So we like to get a little bit more specific with you. We want to know, was it really a vacuum plasma, or was it air plasma or corona? Did they call it plasma and maybe not give you plasma? So we want to get very specific about what you might or might not know about that. If it didn't work, was it because it was just totally ineffective, or was it just a short-term treatment? What possibly could have gone wrong if it was in fact plasma? If it was a vacuum plasma, and you can definitely define that, then do you understand what parameters were used? Do you know anything about the recipe that was used? How many different process parameters did you try? Because you can start with a single recipe and tweak gas, you can tweak vacuum, you can tweak RF, you can tweak any of these things to change that recipe to get it to where it will work. And then if you're sure that the plasma process did in fact work, was there something else going on in terms of the application? Maybe the adhesive was wrong, or was there something about a post-plasma cleanliness issue? It could be any number of things. So that's really what TriStar seeks to offer you as a customer, and that is to help you first identify the correct treatment to use, starting all the way back with maybe selecting the right material to use for your application, and then going through the plasma, and then as an additional option, we can offer complete assembly services. We can bond for you. We can do secondary treatments for the materials if you need, in terms of coatings, time release medical device applications. We can treat the material for that. So there's a lot of different aspects of what our surface modification can bring to you, and our goal is to encourage you to contact us at TriStar, allow us to show you what we can do, and let us work with you on giving you the best possible adhesion that you can get on those plastic or elastomer parts. We have been able to answer a lot of very difficult application problems, and we believe that it's something that if we're allowed to work with you on, we can bring those same results to you. We appreciate you watching this video, and encourage you to look at some of our other SMD videos, anything that has to do with surface treatment. There's a lot of different and unique opportunities for using plasma, and we appreciate the opportunity to share this with you. Thank you, and we'll see you again.